Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Training Industry Learning Tech Showcase, AI-driven authoring tools, sponsored by Camtasia, FlowSpark's Guide is Easy, and Sheer IMC. I'm Emma, a marketing associate here at Training Industry, and I'm so happy to have you with us today. Before we get started, I just have a few housekeeping items to go through. Can everyone hear me? Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items I'd like to go over to help you interact with our speaker and get the most out of today's program. Throughout today's event, please feel free to use the chat for comments and submit questions in the Q&A panel. All of the questions will be addressed during the event or at the end of the program during the Q&A section. At the end of the event, you'll notice a short survey will pop open in your browser. We'd appreciate your thoughts on today's event. And as always, all of our sessions are being recorded and will be archived on trainingindustry.com, and you will receive a link in the follow-up email to the on-demand sessions and slideshows. If this is your first Training Industry event, we'd like to welcome you. Training Industry exists to make connections among learning and development professionals. We offer tons of resources to support your role in L&D through live events like today's Learning Tech Showcase, as well as through articles on our website, our magazine, conferences, research reports, our podcast, and more. You can visit trainingindustry.com to learn more. And now, without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to our speaker, Dan Sahar, the co-founder from Guide. So great to have you here, Dan.
Thanks, Emma. Great to be here. Can you pass the sharing?
Yeah, sure. You should be able to take it over. There we go. Oh, there you go. Try again.
So it doesn't let me share sound for some reason.
Try one more time.
All right, now it's on. All right, thank you. All right, hello, everyone. So today we would love to use the next 30 minutes to discuss how you can drive productivity in your organization using AI video and AI-powered documentation. And we'll both talk about concepts, but also dive into a hands-on demo to actually see how it's done with Guide. So today, a short introduction about our company. We are used today by over 3,000 organizations worldwide. And our customers range from a variety of industries. And you may ask yourselves, what's the common denominator between logos like a pharmaceutical company like Bayer, a clothes manufacturing like American Eagle, a software company like Carta or ADP, or a fintech company like Nasdaq? What's the common line between all these companies? And the answer to that is that even though these are very different industry organizations, they're all today in their essence a software company. And this is a logo that you may have missed in those logos on the previous slide. But Beacon Mobility, one of our customers, it's actually one of the largest school bus companies, and we know that school has just started this week or last week for many of you. And they are, aside from being, in charge of driving our kids to school, they're also under the hood a software company. They both create their own software to power their fleet, but they use a range of software, like I'm sure that many of you use. And today, the software that powers the company becomes one of the intellectual properties, and the ways to use the software properly becomes a very important strength and intellectual property for any company. Now, unfortunately, in the current situation, in the current software, even with all the AI advancements that we have seen over the last couple of years, software is still a main cause of time waste and a loss of productivity in pretty much every organization. And you can see this is a study from a couple of years ago done by the University of Copenhagen, but time is being wasted. 20% is essentially a day a week. That's a ton of time. that's almost like a wasted effort and a loss of outputs that every company can suffer from. And you may ask, how can this be? Like this is like software has been around for so many years. It doesn't really make sense that we're losing that much time. And especially with AI coming along, obviously this should improve. And AI has been coming along the scenes, and I think it has sparked a wave of both trying to improve current software to basically latch on existing on top of the existing capabilities, new capabilities that allow you to interact with it. At the same time, now you can build software using AI much more easily than you could ever before. But at the end of the day, in order to use both the AI-powered software and the legacy software, you still need to have the know-how on how to do it and how to do it in the specific context of your own company and of your specific role in that company. And in order to do that, we come into a new issue that maybe has been creeping under the hood, which is we have a massive amount of debt that is required for us to be able to use that software. And it's not this debt that you see here. It's not like our national debt. This is a documentation debt. And if before you were able to get by with just like very basic documentation, and if you didn't know the answer to some question, you just turn left, ask your colleague that was sitting next to you, hey, how do I do this? And maybe they were able to help you out, or blast a question on a Slack channel, and that would find its way to everyone, and finally somebody would be able to assist you. But in the age of AI, we have that really powerful machine that can actually be able to assist us in a very precise manner. Only thing that we have to do is we actually have to feed it with the proper information so that it won't hallucinate, it won't make up answers, because it knows how to make up answers very well. But in order to give you accurate answers, you need to actually properly feed it, and that would mean give it documentation. And if you create great documentation for it, you'll also be able to assist the actual consumers of that, which is us, the humans. Now, when you build that, this is like I think an issue that is creeping in many companies, and they're realizing that this is maybe before you're able to introduce AI across the board, you really have to ramp up your documentation. And this is not only for the customer-facing factions in the company, but also internally, like for the employees. Now, when we looked at what is the best documentation that you can build, it looks like humans and LLMs and AI, kind of like large language models, they like to consume content in different ways. And there's content that is very beneficial for one, harder to consume for the other. So for us humans, obviously we like to read books, but it's a lot more effective for us to consume content in a video form factor. We get a picture is worth 1,000 words. In a video, we can actually consume thousands of pictures, get the audio, so we get another sense that we can actually listen to, and we can actually hear the intonation in the audio. So video is an almost ideal form factor for humans to consume content. The LLMs on the other side actually prefer text. Text is a lot more structured, especially if you give it hints and tags, and you're able to label it correctly. You're able to actually create very concise context that the LLMs would then be able to feed. So the ideal solution, like for organizations that are looking at like the time ahead, is if you're able to do both, to both create content that is designed for the humans, but at the same time be able to create content that the LLMs can also feed off, you get an ideal situation. this is what we try to build at Guide. So the platform that we've built and that many of you are using is essentially a what we call video documentation platform that has two main objectives. One is we want to help anybody with no visual skills, no documentation skills, be able to create content super easily. Then secondly, make the discovery of content. So not only it's not worthwhile if you only have the answers, but if nobody knows how to find them, you're in trouble. So you want to be able to create the answers, but at the same time, be able to discover them in the flow of work when you actually need that assistance. So this is like the two objectives that we set when we first built out the platform. Now, today, some of you have probably created videos in the past, and videos, again, designed for humans. You know how fragmented, how lengthy that process is. You have to really many times switch from 4 or 5 different tools, do handovers of formats, like convert from WebM to MP4, and then edit the video, and then add in text to speech. If you want to have avatars, that's another vendor. So you have to jump between different tools, and then as a result, the process is difficult. Not everybody can do it. And it's also lengthy. You have to make all these hops, and sometimes information gets lost in the middle. So this is like the situation that probably a lot of you have said, well, the video is too difficult. I'm not going to touch it. It's like only 1 or 2 people in my company can do that because it's so hard. So what we try to do is essentially unify that entire process end to end and be able to build an entire workflow, convert it into a documentation, a video document, and then generate on your behalf a storyline, a voiceover, an avatar if you'd like, be able to share it directly, host it in that same platform, and finally, if you'd like to embed the content in third-party sources, also be able to do that all in the same platform. So this is the objective. Again, be able to create content for both the humans, first and foremost, but also for the LLMs, the Microsoft Copilot or Universal Search that you may have, or like your own homegrown LLM that you have in the company. Build it in seconds and allow every subject matter expert, every SME in the company to do that on their own time. So let's see how it's done. And let's jump now to seeing Guide in action. So the first thing that I'm going to show is the creation side. Now, in this case, we're going to use one of the most common software tools that probably many of you have used in the past. This is called Salesforce. It's the world's #1 CRM. And in this case, I want to capture a workflow for my company, which is I want to reassign an opportunity, and I want to do it for knowledge and documentation, like I said, for this company. Now, we also have the ability to both capture actions, but also our audio. In this case, I'm going to turn this off. We're just going to base it on the actions that I'm actually using, and then simply start the capture that I want to actually perform. So let's jump and perform I'm here in the homepage of Salesforce. I'm going to jump to opportunities, pick the opportunity that I want to reassign as the example, pick one of our users, and then I'm going to send a notification email to that. Then when I'm done, all I have to, let's do it again. So in this case, I'm going to start, click the opportunities, pick the opportunity that I want to change the owner for. And then when I'm done, I'm going to hit stop. And let's see what Guide is able to compose out of everything that I was doing on screen. So first of all, you can see every point, every clickstream action that I performed, like in this case, I clicked on home, it's automatically highlighted. So I get the images and the actual identification of the controls that I was using on screen. Now, secondly, you have a fully working SOP. As you recall, we said we want it to be ready for both the LLMs and the humans. So you have like a call outs and the description of everything that I was doing on screen. Now, finally, us humans, we like video, so I'm able to actually get an instant video out of that exact flow. So let's play it out.
Learn how to reassign an opportunity in Salesforce with this step-by-step guide. You will confidently transfer ownership to another user to keep your sales process up to date. Navigate to the Salesforce homepage to begin managing your opportunities. Access the Opportunities tab to view all current sales opportunities.
All right, so as you can see, the actual video is composed out of all the actions that I was doing on screen. I didn't have to speak at all. Everything is done on my behalf. The voiceover is actually occurring based on the actions that I was doing online. I can also introduce a talking track to it using the what we call the magic mic functionality. In this case, I didn't use it, but I'm able to do that. And from here, what I can do is like this is an actual guide that I can now decide to share with my audience. So I have like a few options at my disposal. I can copy a link, send it. The content is hosted like inside Guide. I can embed it as an iframe, as you can see, like it would reside inside a lesson or a document. And I can also export it out in one of a variety of formats. So I can export as a PDF. I can take it out as a video, a GIF, and if I want, like in this case, I'm going to we have SCORM as well, but in this case, I want to embed it into a third-party solution. So I'm going to just like pick. This is like one of the LMSs, Trainio. I'm just going to paste it in there, and then as you can see, I have a learning course inside this LMS, and right here I have both the video iframe and the individual steps become part of that course, and you can do that like in your own specific LMS. So you have the ability to not only create the content but also embed it directly into that output. Now, the content itself, this was like just made out of like the first pass. You can see it is branded. I set the branding to the learning industry in this case, but you can brand it to your own company. And then changing the copy or the voiceover is as easy as just like this is text. This is not a human voice. You can just like modify the text, and then you'll get another voiceover track. And then the visuals are as easy to modify as actually using a presentation editor like PowerPoint. So you can add like area like boxes like this, call outs, whatever you like, as well as like media. Like you can add like speakers like this, and then you can introduce like animations around the speaker as well, just to drive more emphasis to the content. So this is like the simplicity of the tool, and that everything is in one platform makes it like all the more powerful. This is like one of the more common creation flows that we have in the platform. Now, a second option is we can also allow you to introduce content from existing sources. So let's say you have either another video, or you may have a PDF like this. So you're able to actually convert an existing PDF and just like make it a lot more engaging. So here I grabbed a PDF from the training industry. This is like, let's look at it. Essentially, what we do is we're able to ingest it in, and then generate a guide out of that presentation, essentially convert it into a narrated video. So what is happening behind the scenes is we analyze all your slides. This can be, hundreds of slides, 50 slides, whatever it is. Look at the actual payload, the actual content of the slide, and then based on that, create a talking track for the output video. I'll show you what that looks like on an end result.
Dive into the current learning technologies landscape. Uncover the key trends, market insights, and sourcing practices that are shaping corporate training today and tomorrow. Explore the state of those executive summaries.
You can see this one has a talking avatar in it, but you can actually create content based on content that you've already had done before. Just make it more consumable, more easily to engage with by your team. So this is like another option. We can also do that for Zoom videos, Zoom recordings that you may have, or MP4s. Now, the last part is after I've made the content, I've built it. Let's go back to that first video that we made. So now we want to, we showed a couple of ways of sharing it with the team. There's another way where we actually are able to make the content accessible for everybody in their flow of work. So in this case, we use a second functionality of the Guide platform that we call broadcast. Now here, let's say this content is designed for the marketing and the sales team. We're able to broadcast the content to a channel. In this case, it's these two channels. And as simply as just like clicking share, now when I go back to, let's exit out. When I go back to the tool that I was on, in this case, it was Salesforce, you can see that I have this little widget here at the bottom right. We call this is like essentially a video library where I'm able to consume the content that I just made. Like,
We are going to look at
right, so I can actually watch it in real time. I can actually scroll through it or view the content. I can view it in full page like this, and then when I'm done, I can click to another video and just like jump to any video. Now, the beauty of this is that it's not only one video; it's contextual and relevant for a given person. So I can jump to another page in the app, like campaigns. You can see the playlist that I'm receiving is designed for me and my location. If I go to a different app, like I go to Power BI, like another app that we might be using in the company, boom, I have like I have content that's designed for Power BI, which I can also share and search across like the entire content. You can see it's geared for that application. This way, you're able to essentially serve content based on the individual user preference. They're able to, this is like an example of content that was consumed like from an outside source. So this is like a Power BI update. So because it's leveraging video, you can use any existing video that you may have. So the content comes to your learner or your team member instead of them having to come out of the tool, in this case, come out of Power BI and go search for the content without actually knowing, is it in my LMS, is it in our SharePoint, is it on Slack? We're not exactly sure. This gives you the ability to actually deliver the content to them when they're on the actual work tool. And then finally, when they're done, exit out, it minimizes to this level, and they can go back to work. As it's playing, by the way, you can still navigate like across your tools. You can see it's still working. It allows you to actually behave in a similar way to driving a car and having like a navigation system. So you're actually working the tool, and then in your ear, you're listening to the real-time guidance and you're actually performing what you've just learned. So it's actually completing the loop of consuming the information and then applying it in the moment as you're actually looking to get your answers and perform the flow. So this has been the platform that we built. Guide is today, as I mentioned in the opening, used by a variety of teams, like across very different industries. So this is like an example of one of our customers, a company called Nayax in fintech. They've upped their content production volume 7x, like from before using Guide to after. Both consistency of content, which is a point that I didn't mention. Every piece of content comes out looking with your exact brand kit, exact tone of voice. You can actually create avatars that are specific to your company. So like have we've seen in the Guide avatar, like have your company's brand on the avatar. Perforce, this is a support team that's actually using Guide to create customer-facing documentation. Again, a lot of videos, but also at the same time, knowledge-based articles with the textual content. Just like be able to create content by every member of the team. And then finally, Novidea, this is a fintech company, insurance company, excuse me, increase the content velocity. And then in their case, this is customer facing where both content that is placed inside their app, but also like on their Help Center, and in their academy helps to drive user adoption. So Guide, what you're using the content for, as you can see, it can vary from both internal employee-facing use cases, which I think majority of our customers use, but then also customer-facing content that you would actually place in your knowledge base, in your website, in your LMS, if the LMS is customer-facing, and in your academy. So this was the presentation for today. Love to open the floor for a variety of questions. Let me know Emma, and we can go like through the questions in the chat, or you can just like float them.
Yeah, we have lots of questions in the chat. I'm seeing a lot about language. How many languages is Guide capable of creating videos in? And can we see a clip?
Sure. So let's say the content that we've just seen, you're able to translate it into over 40 languages. Now, in each language, you can actually pick the I think in this video I used Emily, if I'm not mistaken, but like you can convert a woman's voice into a male voice. Let's say we convert it to French, and then it was female in the past. Let's use Nael, and then when we translate it, essentially everything, both the voiceover track as well as the visuals get translated. And then the great thing is, because it's a video player, the viewer is able to switch on the fly. Like you'll see like a language icon here on the video player. The player is able to switch on the fly based on their preference. So let's jump to. My French is a bit rusty, but let's give it a shot. Okay, so you can see, cliquez ici, accéder l'onglet. So essentially, it translates everything like in the SOP, and then we'll play let's jump to the video.
Découvrez comment réaffecter une opportunité dans Salesforce avec ce guide étape par étape.
Okay, so you heard it. Hopefully it was right, but the level of accuracy, and I think the translation modules are improving all the time. And I think one of the things that we're trying to tackle now is like more of slang in French and some of the languages where you have female and male intonation, but aside from that, it's pretty accurate.
Okay, here's a couple more. We have a lot of questions. I'm going to try my best to go through these. This is a question about editing the video and the content. Is it best to change the step-by-step instructions? If I change things in the video, will that reflect in the written instructions?
So today, we actually, because we produced two pieces of content, two artifacts, we have a syncing mechanism. So if you keep on doing the editing in the video editor, they're synced to the document. But then on the document, we're actually we're getting requests more to have like longer paragraphs, things like a knowledge base where you can have like bullet points. And once you do that, they're not synced back to the video. But if you want them to be like one very straightforward asset, do all your edits on the video editor, they're synced directly like into the document and into captions as well, which is like another artifact I didn't mention, but all of our videos come with instant captions in multiple languages.
Fabulous. We had that question as well. Is there any maximum length of the video generated or maximum steps that can be recorded, and are there ways to convert a larger video into smaller chapters or topics?
Yeah, so I'll start with the last question. When we ingest a video into Guide, like an MP4, you have the option, and most organizations turn it by default to slice it into chapters. That's done based on the transcript and basically what's said in the video. You can then export each chapter to like a clip. And make that into like its own individual asset. That's also a possibility, but actually I think chapters make most sense because you can actually navigate to them. So that's like on the second part of the question. The first part is like today the content is we're moving the maximum limit to 200 steps. we're actually recommend, I think like from just like analysis of best engagement with the video, I wouldn't recommend anything higher than 75, but we have customers that have kind of like longer workflows across multiple tools, and then that's like where the increase is driving towards. We also have another component that's called a playlist, where it's actually better, in my opinion, to break a process into smaller chunks and then just like sequence them on a playlist like you have on YouTube or Spotify or like any Apple Music. And then people can just like jump between the various guides.
Great. All right, here's one last question. Are there any analytics on engagement for these videos or guides?
Yeah, absolutely. So the content, the insights is both you can look at the individual video video level like this, and then I can jump and see analytics on its own behavior like that. You can see engagement, average watch time, and who actually consumed it. And then you can focus on a given channel like this, and then see who are the top creators in the channel, what content is being engaged, and then it's all exportable like in CSV format. You can actually see video loads, watch time, like the engagement time, who are the unique viewers, etc. And you can do that at the personal level as well.
Great. All right, we are out of time, Dan, but there are still a few questions. So it would be great if you could share how we could all contact you. And thank you so much for this event. It's been really great. Thank you.
Sounds good. So I'm on, I think we'll post it after the webinar, dan@guide.com or .co. Feel free to reach out with any questions that you may have. I'm also on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect if you want to learn more about Guide, but really enjoyed being here and presenting today. Thank you, Emma.
Great.
Thanks for the audience.
All right, everyone. We have a 15-minute break coming up, and then our next session is with Christoph Jacobs from FlowSparks, and their session is AI meets instructional design for smarter learning creation. In just a moment, I'm going to close this session, and you can join the next session by joining the event lobby and going to the Sessions tab. I hope to see you all there. Thanks so much.